Welcome back to the Greenhorn Photo Taker for episode 2 of 3 with regard to a 2023 summer road trip across Southern California. Episode 1 saw 122-degree heat, strange desert artistry, and a glimpse of the mighty Sierras. We golfed, I ate an excessive amount of beef jerky, and we toured hundreds of miles of high desert, waiting for car trouble that thankfully never came. We pick up our journey exiting a very long and boring journey south on Route 395, slightly interrupted by a 40-acre vegetation fire, to head into the San Bernardino Mountains for a scenic drive through the 11,000-foot mountain peaks and the resort town of Big Bear Lake. As scenic drives go, this one, called the Rim of the World Scenic Byway, was arguably below average for California, and while the mountains were beautiful, there was often traffic and few if any scenic lookouts of the lake itself. That is, it was below average until the byway approached its termination and the desert was once again looming in the valley below. Here, we soon returned to the land of the strange. The heat once again rose into the 110s, and for the first time, we saw what desert poverty looked like. Hundreds, if not thousands, of small wooden structures, open to the air and surrounded by desert dirt, dotted both sides of the highways and rural streets. The heat kills more Americans than any other weather-related disaster, and with climate change in the forefront of the news cycle recently, it really brought to light how difficult the future might be for some. This was definitely on my mind as we turned off the pavement for a 6-mile out-and-back journey to Giant Rock. This was the most uncomfortable I was on the trip. True desert heat, off-roading where no one knew where we were going, and apparently no one else had any interest during the summer months. All to see a rock that was giant? We constantly kept one eye on the cell service indicator on the car dashboard, and had it ever dropped to no service, I would have turned around immediately. Instead, it held steady at 1 or 2 bars, and we eventually found our way to this purported big rock. It was indeed quite large, giant even, at over 70 feet high, and covers an area on the ground of about 5,800 square feet. To put that in perspective, the average New Jersey home is nearly 3.5 times smaller than this rock. It is also the largest freestanding boulder in North America and perhaps the entire world. Of all the sights to see during this trip, Joshua Tree National Park was the ultimate destination for me personally. Through more than a dozen itinerary alterations, this is the one place I wanted to keep on the list no matter what. I am fascinated by Joshua trees, and to see thousands of them thriving in their own environment exceeded my expectations. Here is another place that I will hopefully return to in the winter or off-season in order to truly spend time with a tripod for some worthy compositions. In our half day here, we saw Keys View, Cap Rock, Skull Rock, and an uncountable number of exquisite Joshua trees at many inspiring pull-offs. The driving was second to none as well, with our only complaint being the literal swarms of hundreds of bees atop Keys View. They swarmed both the tourists and their cars, and many even got inside our car, but luckily no one was ever stung. I guess they're more of a nuisance than an actual threat. Let me spend a moment and share my favorite photos from Joshua Tree. We continued south even further to what can rightfully be described as a desert of love and despair. Bombay Beach on the Salton Sea was like nothing I had ever experienced before. Picture a dying, slightly odorous, enormous body of salt water. So big, it is considered the 19th largest lake in the United States, but it is also in a state of despair. There is a sordid history behind what happened at the lake, including stories of toxic dust, broken levees, and multiple kill-offs of local wildlife.
Change like the wind, like the water.
For our purposes, enter Bombay Beach, a small community of 231 holding on to a once thriving beach-going destination. Now, it is a quirky stop in the Sonoran desert that features wild beach art from multiple people that you probably need to see to truly understand.
Would you live forever, never die, while everything around passes? Would you smile forever, never cry, while everything you know passes? Death's like a door to a place we've never been before. Death like space, the deep sea, a suitcase. Would you stare forever at the sun, never watch the moon rising? Would you walk forever in the light, to never learn the secret of the quiet?
We spent a good amount of time here, exploring as much as we could before the heat and local humidity finally got to us. Less than 30 minutes from the Salton Sea stands the iconic Salvation Mountain. If you're a fan of the movie Into the Wild, this place needs no introduction, and it is why I wanted to pay homage to Leonard and his creation of love.
A lot of tourists come in here and they look at that car door up there. They really like it. And I found car doors and put them up there, and I bolted it all in.
Where'd you get the telephone poles?
Oh, a lot of people in the valley just love me a lot. Everybody now, I think, in the whole world is just loving me. And I want to have the wisdom to love them back.
I adore that movie, and it, along with the John Krakauer book it is based off of, has probably altered my outlook on life more than any other writing. Salvation Mountain was featured for just a few short moments, but the place, along with the creator Leonard Knight, arguably stole the show.
And that's about it, so I really get excited.
You really believe in love then?
Yeah, totally. And this is a love story that is staggering to everybody in the whole world. That God really loves us a lot. I don't know, does that answer that?
Yeah.
Good.
Leonard passed away 9 years ago at the age of 85, but his creation lives on thanks to caretakers and a board of governors. We got to spend time with a super personal board member who relayed old stories of Leonard and his interactions with Sean Penn, who directed the movie. It was a moment to treasure, and one I will never forget. From here, we headed further west in our run to the coast. In our way was the San Jacinto Mountains, a lovely range with its highest peak topping out at just under 11,000 feet. The curving scenic drive was exquisite and even featured bouts of rain, something we did not expect. Named the Palms to Pines Highway as the route gives way to one or the other depending upon the elevation. One memorable stop was just above Palm Desert, where the route was particularly windy, and one of the lookouts was a motorcyclist who agreed to be photographed. Not my best work, but a fond memory nonetheless. In our next installment, a nausea-inducing climb of Palomar Mountain, our paths unexpectedly cross with San Diego Comic-Con, and a true fact, the best part of Los Angeles may have been at an In-N-Out burger.